Hey guys, today I'm going to be reviewing the ThruNite Mini TN30, a flashlight that ThruNite sent me a while ago and I've not had time to review it, but I finally had some time to get the review out and I hope that you enjoy it. I really like this torch because it's super bright. On turbo mode, which is the torch's brightest mode, it boasts a whopping 3200 lumens, which is really blindingly bright. So when you open the box you get some instructions and the torch itself in an alright case, and the first impressions of this torch are it's really chunky, it's actually really thick and it's probably about as thick as my arm, but despite that it's still quite comfortable to hold due to the knurled grip. Also in the box you get a spare button and some spare rubber O-ring seals. The torch itself is powered by four 5.5 volt 18650 lithium ion batteries, each one claiming to hold 3400 mAh, which is pretty good. These batteries don't come with the torch itself, and if you don't already own them they can be quite expensive to buy, and ThruNite does sell some decent ones though. And these are the same batteries used in the ThruNite TN30, which is also a pretty bright torch. The super bright output of the torch comes from three very efficient Cree LEDs which claim to have a 20-year plus lifespan. The torch features only one button on the front, which is right in the right place for your thumb to grip it, however only using one button to flick through the modes is sometimes a little bit fiddly. And also the knurled grip on the anodized aluminium provides quite a nice grip for your hand. When you open up the torch you can then find inside the battery holder, which you can slide in four of the 18650 lithium ion batteries. Once all four of the batteries are combined together, this cell now has over 13,000 mAh. Once the batteries run out they're obviously rechargeable since they're lithium ion, and you can charge them in the ThruNite charging dock, which they also sent me. It doesn't matter about the polarity of the cell that you put in since it's got protection against that and works in both directions. So now let's go over how to function the torch. If you hold down the button when it's turned off it goes into moonlight mode, which is 0.4 lumens. This is the torch's darkest mode and it works for apparently 98 days, but I obviously didn't have time to test that. Despite it being super dark, it's actually quite useful for if you're just walking around in complete darkness and you don't want to blind the person in front of you or ruin your night vision. If you hold down the button again it goes from low, medium to high mode. The low mode is 40 lumens and lasts for 123 hours, the medium mode is 435 lumens and lasts for 15 hours, and the high mode is 1900 lumens and lasts for 198 hours. And they're all quite long and quite bright, and especially the high mode is actually really bright and it does last for quite a long time. If you then double click the button again it goes onto turbo mode, which is the 3200 lumens, and this is really bright. The reflection of the paper which is below the torch is actually hurting my eyes to look at. Double click it again and it goes into horrible strobe mode, which I suppose would be useful if you want to try and blind someone, but it's absolutely horrible to look at. So now it's time to test the distance of the beam, and obviously on moonlight mode you can't really see it at all, and I suppose it would be quite useful for reading a map or a book. Low mode is a little bit better and it illuminates the ground maybe about 10 meters in front of you. Medium mode is a considerable amount brighter than that, and I'd say you can see almost up to 30 meters with it. High mode is great and it pretty much lights up the entire of my garden with a really nice beam pattern, and you can probably see maybe 50 meters with it. And then obviously turbo mode is even brighter, and I'd say you can probably see the beam up to 100 meters. It says on the packet that you can see the beam up to 285 meters, and maybe you can illuminate things up to 285 meters in pitch darkness, but you can't actually see it very well. The actual pattern of the beam is actually really good for flooding the entire area. It's not a very focused beam, and I'm sure if it was it would go a lot further. So this is the torch compared to some of the other torches that the ThruNite has sent me, and you can see how it's considerably brighter than all of the other torches. This torch, as with almost all of the torches that ThruNite sells, is IPX8 water resistant, which means that it's water resistant up to 1.5 meters, so you don't have to worry about getting it wet in the rain or dropping it in a river. So let's go into some things that I don't really like about the torch. It's very big to hold and it's really not very portable. It's not the type of thing you could just put into your pocket, but then again it does give off a massive amount of light for the size of torch that it is. Also when it's got all four batteries in it is really heavy. It's actually heavier than this solid aluminium block, which is roughly the same size. However, to combat this they do give you a lanyard loop which you can put around your wrist, which will stop you from dropping it, and if you do drop it, it claims that it's drop resistant. But I wouldn't really want to test that since it's so heavy. I'd risk damaging it or damaging whatever I dropped it on. So thanks for watching guys, I really hope that you've enjoyed this review of the ThruNite Mini TN30. There's not that much that's mini about it since it's really big, but still all the same it's a really nice solid torch that's really chunky and heavy in the hand and is super bright for its size. If you do want to buy the torch, I'll provide some links in the description down below to all of the places that ThruNite sells it.